Hi everybody, we're going to go over the steps for the specific heat lab. First, you'll enter a student ID here, and you have two links. You have link A and link B. So here, link A, if you click on that, it should look like this, and if you click on link B, it should look like this one here. So first, we're going to begin with link A. So there's two parts to this experiment. There's part one and part two. So first thing is click on link A. Well, actually, let's look at the rest of these pieces here before we go on. So you're going to have your errors. So actually, let's click on this here so you can see the devices. You're going to have a calorimeter cup. You're going to have a triple beam digital mass scale. This is an analog device. You're going to have a digital thermometer. You're going to have a piece of metal. You're going to have a beaker filled with water, and you're going to have a hot plate. So the instruments that you'll be using to make your measurements are going to be this triple beam mass scale. So you put the error for a triple beam mass scale here. So this is going to be an analog device, and the units. And then you have a digital thermometer. So when you're taking your measurements, you look at the readings for the digital device, and you're going to put those here along with the units. And you have your list of terms. So there's going to be calorimeter, mass of calorimeter mcal, mass of water mw, and so on. Specific heat of metal cm. So you have your list of terms here. And you're going to also have to look up the value for the specific heat for water. And so you're going to put that over here. So you can either look that up online or in your textbook. You just make sure you enter it in SI units. And now you can begin the experiment. So the experiment, there's two parts, and they're actually pretty short. There's going to be a data taking section, section 5, a calculation section, section 6, and then that's going to be for part 1. And part 2, you're going to just be repeating the same experiment. So part 1, you're going to do the experiment using a metal. You can see the metal sample here. And part 2, you'll be doing the same experiment using a liquid. So let's go ahead and begin part 1. So you can see in the steps here, section 5, these are procedures that you'll follow to complete the table for section 5. And section 6, these are going to be the procedures to follow to complete the table for section 6. And then you'll just repeat that for part 2. Okay, so let's just look at the table and the simulation here. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure the mass of the calorimeter. So you just click on next. And you see here, this is going to be the mass of the calorimeter. And this reading, you're going to put this over here. Whatever the mass of the calorimeter is, just don't forget to convert that to SI units. And you'll put the units over here. And next, you're going to measure them. What you're going to do next is you're going to pour some water into the calorimeter, and you're going to measure the combined mass. So you see here some water has been poured into the calorimeter, and you're going to measure the combined mass of the calorimeter and the water. So whatever that is. And next, you're going to measure remove the calorimeter and water. You're going to measure the mass of the metal sample, and you put that over here. And don't forget the units. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to take the metal sample, you're going to place it in a beaker with water, and you're going to place that on a hot plate, and you're going to heat up the metal, or you're going to heat up the sample to the boiling point of water. What this means then is that this is going to be the temperature of the metal when the experiment starts. So the metal is going to start off at the temperature equal to the boiling point of water. So you'll look that up, whatever the boiling temperature of water is. And you're going to put that over here for initial temperature of metal. So that should be the boiling at the temperature for the boiling point of water. And don't forget your units for temperature. Next, you're going to measure the initial temperature. So you're going to place the temperature meter inside the calorimeter with the water, and you're going to measure the initial temperature for the water. So if we just click on next, you can see right there, this is going to be the initial temperature for water, and you're going to put that number here, whatever number you get. And Now what you're going to do is once the water starts to boil, you're going to take the cylinder, place it into the calorimeter. So you see there, the metal cylinder has been placed in the calorimeter, and so the water is absorbing water from the metal sample. And you're gonna wait until this temperature stabilizes. So it's somewhere around there. So here, this is gonna be the final temperature, where now the metal sample, the water starts off cold, the metal starts off hot, but eventually they both wind up at the same final temperature. And that's gonna be the equilibrium temperature. So then you put that here to be the final temperature. And that's going to be the data taking section for the first part of the experiment. And after that, what you'll do is you're going to just do some calculations. So if you look at the reference formulas, there's two. There's two sets. It says these are the formulas for part A. These are the formulas for part B. So we'll use these two to, first of all, you're going to calculate the mass of the water by itself. So if we go back a few steps here, so you're going to calculate the mass of the water by removing the mass of the calorimeter. So you're just going to get the mass of the water by itself. You put that here. And next, you're going to use this formula to calculate the specific heat for the metal, and you're going to put that here. And that's going to conclude part one of the experiment. So now if you do part two, so the procedures are here, part one. And part two, it's similar, but here you're going to click on link B. So when you click on link B, it's a pretty similar setup, but here you're using two liquids instead of a liquid and a solid. So first thing you're going to do is so here you just have two liquids. The water is going to be hot and the liquid is going to be at some initial temperature, and then you're going to mix them. But first you need to get the masses of the different components. And you have two digital thermometers here. So first of all, you're going to, like before, you're going to get the mass of the calorimeter. You put that here. And next, what you're going to do is you're going to pour some unknown liquid into the calorimeter, and you're going to measure the mass of the combination of the calorimeter and the unknown liquid. And now you're going to start to measure the temperature of the different components. And these temperatures will come up once you start to take the data. So this shows you that you're going to be measuring the temperature of the unknown liquid using a digital vernier thermometer. And you're going to be measuring the temperature of water in this second cup here using another digital thermometer. So here, so the cool object, that's the unknown liquid, and a hot object is the water. So you're going to be measuring, you're going to include the temperature of the unknown liquid, so whatever the cooler temperature is, and also the temperature of the water once it starts to become relatively stable. And so that's going to be a hotter temperature, so I'll put that number there. So the cool one corresponds to the liquid, and the hot one corresponds to the water. And then you're going to mix them. So you're going to pour the hot water into the liquid. And you see there, when they mix, they both settle into some intermediate temperature. And you just wait for that temperature to flatten or to become relatively constant. And that's going to give you the final temperature for the mixture. And next, you're going to now, this is a calorimeter with water and with the unknown liquid. So you're going to measure the mass of the total of all of these three objects, and I'm calling that the total mass. And again, don't forget your units. And that's it for the data taking section. So the next part is that you're going to use your previous values. You're going to calculate the mass of the water by itself, the mass of the liquid by itself, and then you're going to use this formula to calculate the specific heat for the liquid. And then that's going to go over here. And that'll complete the experiment for the specific heat lab. And don't forget that you have your homework assignments here as well.